WhatsApp. As I say WhatsApp, it also means it's time to take the conversation forward, which is why we will now deep dive into a special address on how technology can help build a sustainable, inclusive, and global financial world. We have with us Mr. Abhijit Bose, Head of India, WhatsApp, to share his thoughts with all of us in the form of a special address. So ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause? And please help me welcome on stage Mr. Abhijit Bose, Head of India, WhatsApp.
All right. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be with you here today. You know, this is my 4th year as head of WhatsApp in India. And for the last 3 years, we've been a proud partner of the Global Fintech Festival. And each year, I've had the privilege of presenting at the GFF. And as I was looking back at what we presented, our sessions at GFF have been, in many ways, a roadmap of WhatsApp's digital journey in India. Do we have the presentation? Can we load the presentation? All right, there we go. So, when I first spoke here in 2020, I talked about how India's WhatsApp moment, to use a term coined by Nandan Nilekani, and our country's digital transformation was inevitable. More than other markets, we were building a new digital architecture and ecosystem powered by the India stack. This new architecture, coupled with a new generation of digital entrepreneurs, when it all came together, would solve some of the world's toughest social impact and financial inclusion problems at massive scale, and ultimately become templates coming out of India for the rest of the world. Now, we were all still evangelists back then, and while the components like UPI and Aadhaar were obviously scaling, the actual social and business solutions that would be the capstone of India's WhatsApp moment were still being pitched in PowerPoint. But we knew at WhatsApp, especially with our reach to a huge section of the underserved people in the country, that we had an important role to play. We began opening up as a platform, not just a messaging app, on which any organization, NGO, small or large business, even the government, could build a great native mobile experience that any Indian could access digitally from a phone via WhatsApp. We announced our strategy, and like a social impact VC, we wanted to partner, support, and seed many experiments to learn and see what was possible. Last year, the first of the experiments and programs had gone live. Some worked and some didn't. But we did clearly realize that there was an untapped demand and value for people who were looking for a different way to engage. The major example were all the programs launched in partnership with the government to scale health info and services for COVID over WhatsApp. The smallest volunteer groups could mobilize and connect people to oxygen, while the government could manage vaccine appointments and certificates on their MyGov portal, all fully digital and easy for people via WhatsApp. We celebrated the phenomenal success of UPI, taking its place next to Aadhaar as one of the great digital leapfrogs in our country. Moreover, we highlighted the upcoming services from India Stack, like the Beacon Protocol, which will help small businesses manage logistics, and the DigiLocker, which was launched this year on WhatsApp and is now accessible to all WhatsApp users via MyGov. Now, the point I reinforced last year is that while we should certainly celebrate the progress that we have made, this was only phase 2 of a longer digital journey in which many building blocks were coming online in a real way, and both organizations and people were becoming aware that they might be able to change the way that they manage their daily lives and maybe access potentially life-changing services digitally. Our common goal is not to simply scale digital payments or IDs or documents. Those are building blocks for solutions. The end goal is to scale access and adoption of social, business, and financial impact services. And we should do this through redesigned digital experiences using those building blocks. And to do that, through a growing and entrepreneurial ecosystem, who in turn will often be partnering with the established and trusted service providers which manage those services, including banks, other financial institutions, and the government. So, when we discuss how technology can help build a sustainable, inclusive, and global financial world, the problem we're all trying to solve is this. Until now, this was our old model of how people, especially the underserved and rural population, might, if they were lucky, access services such as banking, microcredit, microinsurance, micropensions, and even government and health services or retail goods. Each industry was siloed and often vertically integrated. Legacy systems were impossible to customize. Redundant, inflexible, inefficient, time-sensitive, paperwork-based processes all put the onus on people to put in huge effort and work, some of which was impossible to complete if you didn't have things readily available. Massive feet on the street and physical retail distribution and collection created an unscalable cost structure, which ultimately meant it was not economically possible to deliver and support 500 rupee or 1,000 rupee financial products. Instead, one-size-fits-all products and marketing favored the largest but least flexible companies and aggregators. So in summary, on the demand side for people and also micro business owners, especially in Tier 3 and rural parts of our country, they had no access, and the processes were not easy, if not impossible. On the supply side, for the service providers, their cost per person was non-sustainable, especially for the underserved segment, and they had no ability for micro-segmentation and personalized experiences. So is there any wonder why hundreds of millions of people and micro businesses were left out of our economy and financial inclusion? By the way, this is not a problem that's just exclusive to our country. This is a problem across emerging economies, and hence, once we solve it here, our model will inevitably become a template for the world. So here we are at the end of 2022, and our new digital model is flexing and ramping up. And this new Indian digital ecosystem is not simply about redeploying existing old systems and broken processes in an electronic format. No. Instead, we took the old siloed model and sliced it and broke it apart into platforms and components through which each sector and organization and use case, from access to adoption to payment to delivery, could be reimagined and rebuilt into native, intuitive digital journeys in which the 1,000 friction points and inefficiencies of the old model disappeared. Moreover, this is not just about technology and components. Success and adoption depends on mobilizing the ecosystem and partnerships by enabling digital-first entrepreneurs to partner with and help scale the supply of goods and services from trusted government programs, financial inclusions, institutions, network of small retail businesses, healthcare providers, etc. On the back end, these companies that are experts in creating great digital experiences can leverage the India stack and platforms like WhatsApp to create frictionless digital user journeys that plug into, while hiding the complexity of, the existing systems and supply chain of the institution and service providers. On the front end, people have apps like WhatsApp in their pocket and can now easily access and interact with the businesses and services of their choice, matching their specific needs in a simple, trusted, secure, and common user experience. Finally, adoption by the underserved, especially those who may not be digitally native, will often require further partnership with groups on the ground who understand and are trusted by the people to help them learn, onboard, and get their first interaction successfully done securely and easily. The new Indian architecture and model is democratizing our economy for both people and small business. There's always been a demand for financial inclusion, products and services, but many of the consumers had no awareness, choice, or access. That will now change. On the supply side, for many organizations, there was always a cap on how far they could reach and how much they could profitably scale. Moreover, the smallest NGO, innovative financial service provider, micro business, or even regional hospital could not have the same access and ability to serve new markets when compared to larger players. That will also now change. The new Indian model is a unique template of public and private collaboration and integration, digital plus on-the-ground hybrid go-to-market, and restructured unit economics and business models that can hit scale for the underserved at a cost structure that is unimaginable in mature markets, mainly because the mature markets had the margins and type of customer bases to not need to solve for this. So let me make this real. Let me share 4 different examples across 4 very different segments to showcase how technology, when coupled by the right partners and redesigned with the customer in mind, can materially change access and effectiveness of almost any sector and help build a sustainable, inclusive, and global financial world. WhatsApp has 2 products to help organizations and businesses. The first is our WhatsApp for Small Business, which is a specialized version of WhatsApp designed especially for the Kirana shop owner. Over 15 million small and micro businesses in India rely on WhatsApp Small Business app. WhatsApp Small Business app affords them the opportunity to build a digital storefront, a professional identity of their business, and serve customers more effectively, right from their phones. It's amazing to see how technology, like the Small Business app, can get adopted in traditional, unorganized sectors such as handicrafts, education, and in turn help millions of underserved micro-entrepreneurs, including women and homemakers, run successful businesses. An example is our partnership with Seva, with whom we work to enable and empower SME women entrepreneurs at the grassroots. During the pandemic, WhatsApp enabled women farmers in Kashmir to connect with customers in Gujarat, to sell thousands of kgs of apples and cherries, creating an alternate supply chain using WhatsApp. Mandeshi is another women's empowerment nonprofit we work with. During the pandemic, small enterprises that ran tailoring units for school uniforms were left with loads of fabric but no food on the table. And they decided to turn the fabric into masks to continue their livelihood. They created videos of this skill and circulated it within the community members using WhatsApp. Soon there were several small groups of women operating and coordinating the mask-making activity within their villages. Together, these women made 10 lakh masks within a few months and sold them in urban cities. So here's a short video further highlighting our partnership with Mandeshi Foundation and how it can impact the grassroots. If you could play the video, please.
कुछ तो बात है महाराष्ट्र के इस गांव की औरतों में। भारत के आर्थिक विकास की रफ्तार से जुड़ने के लिए रोज सुबह अपने घर से निकलती है, सबको साथ लेके मीलों दूर चलती है। कुछ तो बात है महाराष्ट्र के इस गांव की औरतों में। हर दिन कुछ नया सोचती, हर बदलाव को सीखती है, सिखाती है, बेझिझक, बेखौफ अपनी एक नई पहचान बनाती है। कुछ तो बात है महाराष्ट्र के इस गांव की औरतों में। कभी फोटोग्राफर, कभी मार्केटिंग गुरु, कभी टीचर, झट से जो चाहे वो बन जाती है। टाइप किए बिना अपनी आवाज से ही सबको अपने प्लान समझाती है। कुछ तो बात है महाराष्ट्र के इस गांव की औरतों में।
व्हॉट्सअप व्हिडिओ कॉलद्वारे ट्रेनिंग घेतलं होतं, काम केलं होतं, मी सक्सेस झाली।
200 पेक्षा जास्त लोक महिला माझ्या स्टेटस बघते ते आणि मला रिप्लाय करते ते।
अभी अपन व्हाट्सएप बिजनेस पर टच किया तो उसमें सब दिखाई देगा तुम्हारा कितने दिन दुकान चालू है।
When women want to do businesses, WhatsApp came with the solutions in your hand.
एक लक्ष्य, एक विश्वास, एक बटन के साथ ये सभी औरतें हर दिन भारत से इंडिया की दूरी कम करती हैं। हमारे डिजिटल इंडिया के सपने को हर दिन एक नई ऊर्जा से भरती हैं। सच, कुछ तो बात है महाराष्ट्र के इस गांव की औरतों में।
दिवसाची सुरुवात पण आमची व्हॉट्सअपनेच होते आणि दिवसाची शेवट पण व्हॉट्सअपनेच होतो। एवढं सोपं आहे व्हॉट्सअप।
और व्हाट्सएप गर्व के साथ मानदेशी की औरतों के साथ खड़ा है।
Thank you. The second option that we have for businesses is our WhatsApp Business API. It lets businesses in collaboration with digital partners create customized and awesome digital journeys that are accessible to any customer on WhatsApp. One of the first pilots that we pushed in 2020 was to explore how the Indian National Pension Scheme, or NPS, could scale significantly and digitally over WhatsApp. Pensions, along with insurance, banking, and credit, make up the core of financial inclusion for the poorest and underserved segments. This was indeed reinforced in RBI's vision document published in 2019. In 2020, Pinbox, a startup founded by veterans of India's micro-pension sector, partnered with accredited and well-established financial institutions such as HDFC to launch a service to make micro-pensions much more accessible and available. They also knew from experience that the process had to be reinvented digitally, as the cost structure of the existing model would not scale to serve our population. We helped Pinbox launch on WhatsApp, and today you can both activate your own pensions from NPS or gift a pension to staff or people you know, all end-to-end through WhatsApp. I've set up pensions for all the people who help my family, and it's honestly amazing. The setup takes 10 minutes, but it can be done from your kitchen table and mobile at home or via an agent or a BC in the field. Compare that to the old multi-day paper-based processes in which applications needed to be handed in, signed in person, at service points that were kilometers from people's homes. And the minimum investment is only 500 rupees. Impossible to recoup as an institution if you consider all the manual costs of application, verification, and collection in the old model. Once set up, people get issued their permanent retirement account number and can access the NPS portal to see how their retirement is growing. True digital financial inclusion. Even more amazing is that once set up, further top-ups by you or the pensioner literally takes 30 seconds using UPI. During the process, 4 different components of the India stack are used: Aadhaar, DigiLocker, eKYC, and UPI. It is a great example of how the new digital ecosystem of India is coming together. NPS institutions like HDFC, digitized and simplified by innovators like Pinbox, with reimagined user journeys and cost structures thanks to India Stack, are now accessible to any Indian with a mobile phone via open platforms like WhatsApp. At WhatsApp, we've been consistently investing in awareness and adoption by rural and new-to-digital users. For our third example, I want to highlight a program that we launched last year in partnership with OneBridge, a foundation focused on digitizing rural India. Our joint goal is to onboard the next 500 million Indians into our digital economy and payments ecosystem. For this to happen, we realized that digital literacy and an assisted onboarding in the field was an important first step. So, we launched a pilot for 500 villages across Karnataka and Maharashtra, where we are helping to educate users at the grassroots about the use and the benefits of digital payments. The results and impact of the pilot program have been very encouraging. We helped familiarize users with the how and the what of digital payments in villages where the economy is predominantly cash-led. And in parallel, we helped build a robust network of local merchants who are now pushing digital payments over UPI. The results were lakhs of activations in over 1,200 villages across 45 districts, of Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Telangana. The final example I'd like to show you today is one that we've been working on for a while, and I think is truly game-changing, especially for small and mid-market businesses. A few weeks ago, Reliance Jio announced the launch of their JioMart experience on WhatsApp. Now, here's a brief view of how it works. If you could play the video, please. So I think you'll agree it doesn't look like any WhatsApp experience or UX that you've seen before, certainly not for me. And eventually, it will be generally available to all businesses of all sizes on the WhatsApp Business API. Now, small and rural businesses make up the backbone of our economy and employment. Imagine yourself as the owner of a small business. Your access to new customers has been limited to whomever can walk into your store or maybe find you in a variety of aggregators. Again, this all democratizes the digital economy for everyone. WhatsApp is only the medium. Customers are connecting and interacting directly with the businesses that they choose. Also, I believe the versatility of what one can do on the WhatsApp Business API is shown here. And because WhatsApp is an open platform, it opens up opportunities to many, many areas. I expect and hope that this medium will be used to create similarly amazing journeys for other sectors like education, skilling, healthcare, and more over the next year or two. Today, technology, combined with the growing digital ecosystem, can create a major impact in our economy and help us move towards a more sustainable, inclusive, and global financial world. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more case studies across sectors that are coming online and ramping up right now. And we expect these to increase exponentially over the next 2 to 3 years. And I expect that these next 2 to 3 years will indeed be WhatsApp's moment, India's WhatsApp moment for financial inclusion and digital empowerment, especially for the next 500 million Indians who are ready to benefit from our dynamic and growing digital economy. Thank you all so much for your time today, and thank you all for being an integral part of the evolving India Fintech and financial inclusion story. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much, Abhijit, for sharing across how small businesses are able to make a big impact using the WhatsApp business, or for that matter, looking forward to a digital inclusion like never before. And I think I'm also reminded of an example wherein in my alternate avatar, I get to work with the weavers back in my hometown in Andhra Pradesh. And I've seen how the weavers back there have literally shifted their conversations, how it used to be earlier, and now how they're able to use WhatsApp and sort of build on the conversations and also build on the designs, and at the same time contribute towards the heritage of our economy. So absolutely wonderful indeed.